Dubai, the city of gold, a place where the desert itself seems to have been conquered, where towers climb higher than clouds, where billionaires sip cocktails on artificial islands, and where the word impossible is not in the dictionary. On Instagram, Dubai is a dream, a paradise destination. A place where you can ski indoors, shop for gold in malls larger than some cities, and ride ferries past palm-shaped islands carved into the sea. But what if I told you this paradise isn't what it looks like? Would you still believe the dream? Because behind the shimmering skylines, beneath the endless branding, lies a story almost no one talks about. Have you ever wondered who actually built this paradise? Who paid the price for this miracle? And why the foundation of Dubai's economy is not only fragile, but dangerously so? By the end of this investigation, you will see Dubai in a way you never have before. A mirage that depends on your belief to survive.
L'opportunité de me déplacer pour venir ici, je suis venu, mais je ne conseillerais jamais à qui que ce soit, quiconque, Dubaï. Parce que Dubaï, c'est pas un pays réellement pour venir se chercher. Dubaï, c'est plus pour les investisseurs. C'est pas un pays, surtout pour les Noirs, les Africains.
This is the dark truth of Dubai's economy. Dubai's greatest invention isn't oil, it isn't towers, it isn't technology. It's marketing. Every tower that scrapes the sky, every mall bigger than a city block, every celebrity yacht, every influencer video. They aren't just buildings or vacations or moments. They are advertisements. They scream, "Look at us. Look what we made out of nothing." Tourism has become the lifeblood of this image. In 2022, nearly 14 million people poured into the city. Hotels overflowing, tourists spending billions. In fact, tourism contributes around $30 billion to Dubai's GDP every single year. And maybe you've seen it too. The commercials, the falcons swooping past towers, the smiling families shopping in malls. Even influencers on yachts, sipping champagne under the desert sun. But what if I told you all of this, the malls, the islands, the fountains, the towers, is not the foundation of prosperity? It is the mask. Because if an economy's survival depends on endless hype, endless outsiders flying in to feed it, endless illusions to distract from the truth, what do you think happens when the hype stops? Think about it. What if, for just 1 year, the tourists vanished? The planes went quiet, the hotels empty. You don't need to imagine. We already saw it happen. In 2020, when the pandemic struck, tourism dropped by more than 70%. The lifeblood vanished. Hotels locked their doors. Streets silent. Nearly a quarter of the city's population simply disappeared. So let me ask you, what would happen to your city If a quarter of it vanished in a single year, that's Dubai's reality. Dependency, fragility, vulnerability. And if tourism can disappear so quickly, then surely Dubai has another foundation, a deeper one, something more secure. But here's where the story takes its first twist. Dubai's economy was never built on tourism, and it wasn't built on oil either. So the real question is this: if it wasn't oil, and it wasn't tourism, then what is Dubai really built on? When people think of the Middle East, they think of oil. It's automatic, isn't it? The picture of sheikhs swimming in petroleum wealth, buying private jets and football clubs. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Dubai never had much oil to begin with. By the early 1990s, oil made up less than 7% of Dubai's GDP. Today, less than 1%. So if oil was never really there, what built this empire? In 1966, oil was discovered beneath the sands of Dubai, but the wells were modest, enough for an early boom, never enough for an eternity. The ruling family understood something their neighbors did not. When you don't have endless oil, you must find what never runs out. So they asked a simple question: when the wells run dry, how do you stay relevant? Their answer was audacious: reinvention. In the 1970s, Sheikh Rashid bin Zayed Al Maktoum, the visionary behind modern Dubai, drafted a new blueprint: ports, airports, trade tourism. He believed wealth was not in oil fields, but in people. People's ambition, people's money, people's want to belong to success. By 1979, the Jebel Ali port rose from nothing. Miles of concrete berths against an empty shoreline. It didn't just move cargo, it moved destiny. Billions were poured into airports to connect continents. Soon, Dubai was becoming the place where East meets West. And in 1985, another first. The Jebel Ali Free Zone, the region's first major tax-free zone. Here, foreign companies could build, ship, and sell, free from taxes and bureaucracy. If you could start a business in a city with zero taxes and few rules, wouldn't you move there too? During the 1980s and 90s, Dubai's skyline began to change again. Ports and airports weren't enough. Now the city needed a story. Enter Emirates Airline. Founded in 1985 with just 2 planes, within decades it became a global powerhouse and Dubai's flying billboard. Alongside came the Dubai International Financial Center, a city within a city where banks could operate in Western legal comfort but Middle Eastern tax conditions. This was Dubai's second act. No longer the story of petroleum, but the story of spectacle. Every mega project that followed was as much an advertisement as an accomplishment. The Burj Al Arab, sail-shaped, 7 stars, its entire purpose to declare that luxury had a new capital. The Palm Jumeirah, an island so audacious you could see it from space, a symbol engineered for cameras and investors alike. And finally the Burj Khalifa, the tallest structure on Earth. It wasn't built because Dubai needed housing. It was built to say one thing: we are on top of the world. When you build symbols instead of factories, you're not selling products, you're selling emotion. And no emotion is more profitable than desire. Desire for wealth, desire for status, desire to say, I was here. Desire never runs out. Oil does. So Dubai found a resource that can't be measured in barrels: ambition itself. But there's a hidden risk in building on desire. Desire is volatile. It moves with fashion, with influence, with fear. If the world stops craving the dream, the mirage disappears. If oil once flowed beneath the sand, now belief flows above it. The skyscrapers themselves are the wells. And when belief dries up, so does everything else. How long can a city built on imagination keep imagining itself into existence? This was the great transformation. From oil to trade to dream. And from this dream sprang everything we know today. The real estate boons, the tourist spectacle, the image of limitless success. The dreams require builders. And in Dubai, those builders came from everywhere else on earth to raise a city they might never call home. When Dubai's oil trickled and trade momentum grew, another force began to take over: real estate. What started as ambition became an obsession. Real estate contributes more than 30% of Dubai's GDP. It isn't just part of the economy, it is the economy. Towers rise in the desert night like steel mirages, projects marketed as the next great thing. Apartments advertised to foreign investors long before the first bricks exist. Every launch party ends the same way: a countdown, a fireworks display, and the sound of champagne corks. A promise that wealth here will only ever go one direction: up. But what happens when the direction changes? In 2008, as the world's financial system began to crack, the cracks spread through Dubai's glass towers too. Developers had borrowed billions to feed a frenzy. Projects sold before they were built. Apartments flipped multiple times before anyone held a key. Then, the money stopped. Global credit froze, and so did the cranes. The stock market collapsed by 70%. Construction sites stood abandoned. Thousands of expats fled overnight, leaving their cars at the airport, keys still in the ignition, hoping to escape debts they could never repay. For a city built on speed, time just stopped. Abu Dhabi had to step in, a $20 billion bailout. The Burj Khalifa, then called the Burj Dubai, was quietly renamed in gratitude to the neighbor that saved it. The tallest tower in the world stands as a monument to a bailout. Think about that for a moment. This wasn't just a financial correction, it was a revelation. Dubai's real wealth isn't the towers themselves, it's the story told about them. Investors don't buy concrete, they buy the idea of safety, of limitless growth, of status. And ideas can crash much faster than buildings. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. Would you invest in a dream? Because millions did, and many paid dearly for it. After the 2009 crash, the city promised it had learned its lesson: stronger regulations, better oversight, more sustainable growth. But by 2013, construction cranes filled the skyline again. By 2019, property flippers were back. And by 2022, another boom. Experts whisper the same words: history repeats. Because when survival depends on building, you can never stop. The moment the cranes rest, the illusion starts to crack. And here's where Dubai's brilliance and danger meet. Every new mega project, a new tallest tower, a bigger mall, a fresh island, is a distraction. A glittering distraction from the fact that much of this city still sits on leverage. Debt dressed up as destiny. Skyscrapers built faster than demand. Apartments lit for photos but empty inside. Streets immaculate but silent. You see, when a city is built on perception, visibility becomes survival. The construction cranes can never stop, even if no one's buying. Because in Dubai, the building is the marketing. The skyline itself is the slogan. And if the skyline ever stopped growing, the story would too. So the question isn't whether Dubai will crash again. The question is, when?
J'ai eu l'opportunité de me déplacer pour venir ici, je suis venu, mais je ne conseillerais jamais à qui que ce soit, à quiconque, Dubaï. Parce que Dubaï, c'est pas un pays réellement pour venir se chercher. Dubaï, c'est plus pour les investisseurs. C'est pas un pays favorable, surtout pour les Noirs, les Africains, je veux dire.
What do you build? A new big tower? Big tower? Do you think where the labor are living? For 52 rooms in this camp. There is a restaurant, grocery, pharmacy.
You've seen the towers and perfect skylines. But behind every shining glass wall stands someone you're not meant to notice. 9 of every 10 workers in Dubai are migrants from South Asia or East Africa. They came chasing opportunity and found survival. Before sunrise, buses roll out from labor camps at the desert's edge. Inside, men in faded uniforms sit in silence, heading toward construction sites already hot enough to burn steel. They'll work 12 hours, then return to dorms where 20 men share a room. They call once a week, telling families everything is fine. Would you call that a dream or a debt? This is the backbone of Dubai's prosperity. A sponsorship system that binds a worker's visa to his employer. Lose the job, lose the right to stay. It's control disguised as opportunity. Yet the city needs them. They pour concrete, polish marble, scrub floors that tourists admire. Their fingerprints cover every inch of paradise. Invisible, erased, essential. Every miracle has a price. And here, they are the price. And the machine they power doesn't just shape lives. It fuels a cycle of glitter and debt that keeps the illusion alive. After the 2009 crash, Dubai vowed to be wiser. It wasn't. By 2013, cranes filled the skyline again. Each new project promised reinvention, but under the surface, it was the same borrowed money, the same gamble. Would you slow down if stopping meant collapse? Or keep building, hoping momentum alone could save you? Expo 2020 was the latest performance. Billions spent, dazzling lights. The message? We are back. But progress built on spectacle is still an illusion. The desert looks solid until you step on it. To keep from sinking, Dubai keeps running. It works, for now. Investors return, towers rise, headlines cheer. But momentum is not stability. It only feels that way, right up until it stops. Behind the cranes and sunshine advertising sits a quieter business. Money. Billions flow through tax-free zones each year. Some funds are clean, some comfortable in the shadows. When sanctions hit Russia, jets and yachts moved here. Villas sold in cash. Dubai became refuge for fortunes the rest of the world rejected. That reputation cuts both ways. In 2022, global watchdogs placed the UAE on the fat gray list, a warning that the line between haven and hideout is dangerously thin. Dubai defends itself, saying every world power shelters similar wealth. Maybe it's right. Every empire has its vault and its secrets. But when reputation is currency, even one crack can sink the economy built upon it. Now you know the truth beneath the glitter, the invisible workers, the debt cycles, the quiet rivers of money. So, when you see the Burj Khalifa shining against the night sky, remember, mirages are beautiful only because we forget what they are. Reflections of desire that vanish as the heat rises. Dubai is more than a city. It's a mirror held up to us. The dark truth isn't just about its economy, but about what we choose to believe when a mirage promises paradise.